Yo, I remember looking back at all my past laps of fast tracks with sharp as thumbtacks. It's facts, but sometimes would act so dumb, blind to that. Presented right there in front of me. People calling me bubbly. People asking for money, and I just laugh it off humbly. While knowing that I can't afford crumbs. My stomach rumbling now. Whole life is tumbling. The people that I tried to help standing over there mumbling. Guess it was all just fun to them, Lord.
My Botox flow so filler. And my album so sick, need no fillers. Yeah, that's no skips. Yeah, that's no flops. They about the trip when I'm on top. I've been cooking up, get up out my pot. But the slang hits like a cube rock. 90s, baby, so you know I keep a stash of the cash rolled up in my tubes.
Oh, man. Welcome back to the Gray Space. I'm Zeke. That is Dre.
Yepers.
And we got another fire one for you guys this week.
Oh, yes, we do. Make sure you guys subscribe to become part of the tribe. Do us right. Hit that like and comment because you are loving the content. Now, we got a special guest in the building.
Yeah, we do.
And, you know, as I always have to do, I got to bring him in correct.
That's
you know what
right.
I'm saying? We can't keep it simple.
Bring him in, man.
You know
Bring him in. Yep.
Our guest today is a rising artist out of Phoenix, Arizona, by way of Long Island, New York, and Atlanta. Her style can be described as modern with a twist of little boom bap, with songs like Be Okay featuring PK the Poet, which shows her motivational side, to the brash bravado of her single DGAF, y'all know what that stands for, or the braggadocious quick flow on her single Damn Straight. Her versatility is her secret weapon. Creating her own vibe in a world of similar sounds, her style is more Rhapsody and MC Light than it is Glorilla or Ice Spice, and we are here for it. Mm-hmm. She's here to tell her story. So with no further ado, please welcome Lexxi Meshan to the Gray Space.
Yeah.
What's up, Lexxi?
Hey, that was a hell of an intro. Wait a minute. Wow. Yeah, I don't know what to say after that. That was perfect. That's exactly who I am.
Yeah. You know, we try to capture the essence, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, TJ hit the line, you know, and whenever TJ hits the line, it's a guarantee. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
We'll just figure out when and where. And you've been popping up everywhere. You know what I'm saying? We actually saw you at TJ's anniversary.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
yeah.
did.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was dope. And so whenever Big Bro calls, it's just like, it's done. And so super glad you were actually already on the radar, funny enough. So it kind of just worked out. And so I was like, all right, let's get it done. Mm-hmm. And so here we are on a nice Saturday.
Yeah.
And let's get into Lexxi Meshan, by way of Long Island, raised in Atlanta, but now in Phoenix, doing music that is a style that's different than what you see from a lot of females now. Mm-hmm. Like I said, you know, with DGAF, you know, very, you know, brash, bravado. My favorite is Damn Straight. That flow on there is like we were jumping today. I was like, oh shit, let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, we did too.
So
we were like, run that thing back.
No, we ran it back. A few times. I was like, man, she was barring it up.
Thank you.
But talk about, you know, how you got into music. Where'd your your love for music start? And let's kind of get that up until now.
Yeah, definitely East Coast influences, being from New York and Atlanta, and you know, that's a lot of hip hop from New York and Atlanta. Lyrics have always been the most important to me, and you know, kind of the fast, choppy flow, or something slower like Be Okay that's meaningful. Either way, it's got to have some type of subject matter. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So where'd you kind of start with music? Like, how long you been in the game? And because you just been popping up on our radar recently, mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, but as we know with most artists, that's not the case. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of work that's been put into it. So talk about your start in music and kind of how you got to where you are now.
That is actually, it's interesting to be here today on this particular Saturday, and you asked that question. Today is Lexxi Meshan's 12-year anniversary. My very, very first song came out publicly to the world February 25th, 2011.
Okay.
So
nice.
It's been 12 years as of today, so I'm turning up after this.
There you go. Awesome.
But yeah, no, I've been writing since I was a little girl, and then been doing, you know, hip hop music. I was used to sing and play instruments, but then I've always been in love with hip hop, and then I started writing lyrics and stuff. And I don't know. I kind of always knew like this is what I'm supposed to do, even before the industry was very female heavy as it is now. It was very, very much so male dominated sport when I started. So with that being said, I had to work twice as hard to prove myself against the boys. So I think that's kind of where my lyrical ability comes from today, because I didn't have like an option to be anywhere near whack. Like I'm already a girl. That's already, you know what I mean? So yeah.
So on the lyric side of things, did you start like doing poems? Or was it more like critical writing? How did that writing process kind of start for you?
Critical actually is a good way to describe it, because it started with just me emotionally just kind of putting my emotions out there, because I was a very emotional child. And I didn't know how to express them very well. Okay. So my mom bought me a diary, and I just started in there. So it started with just like writing about my day, writing about what I'm actually going through. So now that I got older, it parlayed into music being about what I actually go through. So, you know, even on songs like Damn Straight, like a lot of the things I said with those bars was what I was going through at that particular moment with friends and guys, and just in that I was in that space of like, damn, like, can I get a break? You know? So that's what it was. Yeah.
So let's take it back. Let's take it back even further, because as a lot of people are out here, you know, i.e. the Merkhams, the Tyreeks, and us as well. We're from California originally. We are not Phoenicians, born and raised. And so talk about those days of being cultured, obviously in Long Island, New York, because that's when you hear of New York, you always hear of the same, Brooklyn, Bronx, right? Long Island, you think more like, like Jersey Shore, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
oh wow,
no, you know what I mean? Like truthfully, like for people that are not from there, and we know that's not the case. But talk about growing up in Long Island, and then as well as you having that culture shock and changing from there to now, Atlanta, and then now Phoenix.
So let me back up. So let me explain that, because the culture shock for me was definitely moving to Arizona. That was wild, but. So I was actually born in New York. When I was very, very young, like an infant, we moved to Atlanta. So my whole life, I pretty much was raised in Atlanta, going back and forth to New York. So the way that I love to describe it, because my whole family's from New York, all aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody. But we moved to Atlanta. So the best way that I describe that, from the New York culture to that Southern culture, I guess, that was that. It's not a culture shock, but it's kind of like if my family was from a different country, we spoke a different language, right? But we grew up in America. So when I'm at home, we speaking that, we eating that food, that's the culture in the house. But then when I go to school, you're in just regular, right? Okay. That's kind of what I felt like growing up in Atlanta. Like it was everybody like at school was like, hey, shawty, what's good? Da, 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 da. That type of slang. And then I go home, my mom would be like, yo, go throw this in the garbage. You know what I mean? It's just like, so it was both. So when I moved to Arizona, it was like away from both. Okay. And it was like, I'm on the West Coast for the first time. Well, West Coast, but I'm over here for the first time. Yeah. It's hot, it's dry, it's desert. It was a lot. And hip hop, when I came out here originally, was like, it's come a long way. It's come a long way over here. So it's cool, but it's interesting just being bi-coastal like that is just it's interesting. Yeah.
Did you get the best of kind of both worlds, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
What year was it that you came out here?
2011, actually.
2011,
yeah. Okay. So it was like 6 months after that first song came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I just hit the ground running. I didn't really, to be honest, like there wasn't the hip hop scene out here wasn't that big at the time, but I also wasn't really like hell bent on looking for it. I was like, I'm just going to keep doing what I was doing. So I came here, I found a videographer, found a studio, and I just kept, doing what I was doing. Eventually I got a chance to meet, I think it was 2012. Yeah, when I performed at the hip hop festival, like the first or second one, I got to meet Justice and stuff like that. So that was cool. But yeah, I wasn't really like what's everybody doing? I didn't really care. I was doing me, So yeah.
What was the reason for the jump from Atlanta to Phoenix?
My mom actually picked it like map dartboard. We've never been to the West Coast, never been to Arizona before. Okay. So the first day we came out here is the day we moved here. But yeah, she kind of wanted to bring the family out here.
What do you mean the first day?
Like we had never visited Arizona.
Oh, okay, so you guys like
just straight up left and came out here
and pulled up.
And pulled up and like, okay, where do we go? Like we don't know the difference between, South Phoenix, North Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tempe. Right. We like, what's a Chandler? You know what I mean? Right. We just pulled up, like, and then we just figured it out. quite a spontaneous set of parents I have. But yeah, and it was an interesting experience. So in addition to the culture shock, you're also somewhere where you know nobody. You have no friends, you have no
Right.
family, you have no sense of direction because you don't know where you are. But on the other side, it was really fun. That is also kind of exciting, you
Right.
know, like so.
So pull up in Phoenix, coming from the humid South, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's got, a certain twang, and then you come to the West, everybody speaks real proper, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you said basically 2000. You said 2011. When was it that birth Lexxi Meshan?
Yeah, it was February 25th, 2011. But that was back in Atlanta though. So,
Okay,
yeah.
so now Lexxi Meshan is born 2011 in Atlanta, but very soon after that, we're in Phoenix.
Yeah, that was
And
yeah.
now this plan that I have this idea of who I want to be within the confines of the city that I've been raised in.
Yes.
How does that change the day you pull up to Phoenix? Or does it?
Hindsight being 2020, it didn't.
Okay.
But at the time, I was at the time I wasn't really pressed on what other people or other cities were doing. I had my own goal. I always had my own plan, so I was just going to work that. However, before it was like Lexxi Meshan, and before I was like publicly, like to the public, I, you know how you rapping around high school at the schoolyard, the lunch table, whatever. So I had been doing that for years. So I had been known. It wasn't like a serious professional thing until that February. So the only other thing that like kind of was at the time that kind of like was a thing that bothered me a little bit was there was a particular like group, a female rap group that had got established like right as I was leaving, and I was actually in the consideration of being one of those girls in that group. And if I wouldn't have moved, I probably would have been. And they made a lot of strides before they ended their group. I think they went for like 6 years. So I was like, oh, that sucks. But other than that, like I just kept doing my thing,
So you're alluding to a lot of things here, you know what I'm saying? So let's go back a little bit. So barring it up in the high schools, you know what I'm saying?
I think I started in middle school. Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, what's your record?
What do you mean?
Like you never lost?
No.
Okay, I
was like absolutely undefeated champ. I was writing for other people. It got to the point where I was like, let me just write for you in first period, give it to him by like second, you memorize it by lunch, because it got there.
So what was the thing that, because you were doing this basically as a hobby, so what was the thing that you said, like, what was the decision? Why did you make that decision? Okay, this is who I'm going to be. This is my rap name. This is what I'm going to do. What was the reason behind that?
They all kind of came, kind of a little bit after each other. But I remember, so before I moved to Arizona, I went to a high school in Atlanta for like 9 months, right before we came here. And before that high school, I had grew up in like the same school district, same friends from like third grade all the way through high school.
Okay.
And then my mom moved to a different, and that was a culture shock, because it went from like, that was a culture shock. Let's just say that. So that being said, I did not like that high school. I was not happy. I was very miserable. I think that was the first time I experienced depression. So I did what I usually do. Since my mom bought me that diary, I kind of delve into writing and just music heavily. Like I was always had my headphones, just listen to music, write music, and I think that's where like my love for like very sad music came. But whatever, like Rod Wave type, love it, love it. So I wasn't, the happiest at the time, and I started listening to certain albums, certain mixtapes, and I think that's what it was. That's when I was like, okay, this is my purpose, because I feel a certain type of way right now, and there's certain artists and albums and songs that is literally making me feel better.
Okay.
So this is what I'm supposed to do for others. I don't know if that was before or after I think that was, I already had the name Lexxi Meshan, because that was my MySpace name, and I was rapping on MySpace. So it's been a minute.
Okay, I respect. Shout out to MySpace. So what was the reason behind the name?
I'll be honest, Meshan kind of came out of nowhere. But when it came, it was like, oh, this is dope. Like, it was one of those, like, it was when predictive text first came out on Motorola Razrs, and I was just like, cool. It was one of those. But it stuck, and I was just like, that's where did that even come from? But it sounded like it just sounded like me. I was like, this is it. And to have kind of had that pseudonym for like all these years, or that alias or whatever for all these years, is I never got tired of it. It was never like, oh, I grew out of that name. Like, no, that's actually who I am.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you because, you know, I go by an alias as well. And we were just having a conversation of, I was like, yo, I don't really think I want to go by my regular name, like, no more. Like, I just want to be Dre all the time, like, even to my family, you know what I'm saying? And have you found that, you know, through the music and through the years, that, not that you've changed, but that your moniker has almost become who you are?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And how has that happened? Like, what have you seen that's made you Lexxi Meshan today?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been working really hard doing a lot of things, but it is weird not weird, because it's great where people can respect what you're doing. But I had finally went back to Atlanta last summer for the first time in, like, I don't even know, maybe 10 years. It had been a minute. Maybe 9. But anyway, I finally had went back, and, you know, growing up and, like you said, having that family name or whatever. And then now I'm going back, and, like, my aunts and uncles are, like, calling me, like, Lexi, and they're referring to my music and stuff. It's weird. It's like, that's strange coming out of your mouth. But it's just, but it was cool, because it's like, well, dang, y'all see me. Like, when we do this as artists, we're always trying to build a fan base, and we're trying to get monetized, and we're trying to just get better and get out there. And you kind of forget that your actual family is watching too.
Right.
It's not just these new people.
Right.
So that was interesting. And like when I went back home, oh my gosh, and like my little cousins were like, you know, playing damn straight, and I'm just like, oh, what is going on? It was cool though. It was cool.
Can we talk about what music you were listening to? Because you alluded to it, but you didn't when you were depressed.
Yes.
I'm really curious, because
Yes.
I do think it's super important, because even when you're depressed and you listen to depressing music, it actually helps you get through whatever that depression is.
It does.
You know, and then on the flip side of that is the positive kind of reinforcing music as well. And I think it's so important, because there's a lot to dive in there. But I'm so curious what you were listening to, depressive-wise, and as to kind of what pulled you out of that.
I feel if these artists I'm about to name watch this, I'm not saying that you guys make depressing music. I just want to put that out there. I just feel like it just really helped when you, okay, so, and first of all, that's a good factor, because that was also the deciding factor of the type of artist I was going to be. Okay. I had already knew I was going to be an artist, but that's when I was like, okay, lyrics is everything, and the emotion that I put into it is what people are going to get out when they hear it. Yes. So that's what it's all about, that for me. But at the time period, it's one of my favorite mixtapes of all time, top 5 of all time ever. The Warm Up by J. Cole. Okay. Like, that was like on a loop. Pretty much everything that Lupe Fiasco did, but especially Lasers, on a loop. Okay. I'm trying to think of that particular year. A lot of Drake, actually, at the time. The early Drake, the singing Drake. That makes sense. You know, yeah, he used to sing me to sleep sometimes. Definitely Nicki Minaj. Okay, Nicki Minaj, I had originally found Nicki Mirage on MySpace. She was rapping, but she was like four mixtapes deep. So all of those. She has Beam Me Up Scotty, Playtime Is Over, like all her mixtapes, and then all the way leading up to Pink Friday. I was like, okay, all right, this is obviously gonna work. Yep. But it's those type of people. But J. Cole and Lupe Fiasco, I think lyrically at that time period, were the two that really like did it for me. And J. Cole was that's when I was like, okay, so I could be like a real lyricist and still make it. Like, I don't have to, like, because, yeah, J. Cole is one of my number one inspirations, so.
Still to this day?
Still to this day. Like, I don't know what I would do if I met him, because he wouldn't realize, like, how much he's inspired me. No. You know?
Is Warm Up your favorite project? What's your favorite project from Cole?
2014 Forest Hills Drives is real A1. Real A1. But then he came back with KOD, and I was like, KOD was great. He don't really miss that much. The only thing I will say, and I don't know if I should be saying this publicly, but I'm gonna say it anyway. The only thing I will say is I liked Forest Hills Drive, that 2014 time period, 2015, when that whole platinum with no features. I thought that was one of like the coolest like accolades to have ever. Like when that happened, I'm like, that is so cool because that means that's all you.
Right.
That's all you. You didn't need nobody's help to go platinum, and I feel like it made him feel a certain type of way, and then he started collaborating with just almost anybody. And I get it, like you do want to work with other people and you want to expand and get your versatility out there, but not solely for the reason of like everybody doesn't think it's cool that I'm platinum with no features, so I'm gonna do that. Like no, like they're saying that because they can't go platinum with no features. They can't go platinum with features. So like, so that's my only thing. Like J. Cole, like I just I just kind of wish he would have stayed on that. He was on a very I don't really give a fuck what anybody else is doing. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna whatever. And then it kind of turned into like, okay, I want to be your guy's friend now. And I was like, you know.
Yeah.
But
you can definitely see the difference in like a Forest Hills Drive and even a For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah, that was.
And then the transition from that to a KOD was like totally different, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and then Drake doing the same thing. Drake has, in my opinion, outside of YMCMB, has always been able to stand alone. But now all the collaborative stuff with like Future, 21 Savage, it's cool. It's cool, but again,
it's not as cool.
I mean, it'd be cooler if it was one of those things where it's like, let's just do this. Not like when there starts to be like motives behind it. That's when it gets because you can hear that in the song. You can hear like when I'm not talking about them, but when somebody does a song, like you got two people that do like a single. You can hear the one that put emotion behind it and they wrote the song because I was going through something and I needed to when I recorded it versus the person that put out the song because I'm trying to go viral.
Right.
I'm trying to get my 10,000, 4,000 so YouTube can monetize me. It's like, I could hear that. I could hear you didn't care enough. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's all about the real root of the reason of why you're being an artist. And if the reason is because you're trying to, blow up or be the number one and top spot. First of all, that's really sad. Second of all, it's not going to last long.
Right.
And third of all, you're going to be really miserable really soon because you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. And God forbid, what if you do put out a song and it gets number one, or you're on the top of the charts, or you win a Grammy or whatever. If that was your end goal and then you did it, now what?
Right.
Right. So, yeah.
And that's some great insight because getting back to your music, as I stated earlier, you're more of a Rhapsody and an MC Light than you are, and there's no disrespect, right?
No, I love them.
But
yes.
You're more of, for one, the fact that, and I'm gonna say this, and it's just the honest truth, that you're actually using your real voice to rap, which is not something that a lot of people do nowadays.
That is very true. Yes.
And look, I get it. There's a sound that everybody's trying to accomplish, but the fact that like you can hear you talk and then you can hear you rap and it's like, oh, that's Lexxi. Okay, I get that. It's not. Wait, who is that? Is that? I'm not. Oh, that's somebody different. Okay. And then again, for you to use, just the three songs that I named, "Be Okay," DGAF, and "Damn Straight." Those are three completely different songs. Talk to us about your versatility and your boldness to stay in that and not want to, kind of do what the radio wants you to do.
It's been hard. It's been hard, and I think that's why it's been this many years of still just not. I mean, in my opinion, I made it, but other people's perspective, because that's a very subjective statement. It's been hard because it's like you work really hard on some lyrics, you do the song, you do whatever, and you try to push it, and you get the same kind of feedback of like, oh yeah, that's dope, oh yeah, whatever, bars, fire, whatever, and then another individual put out something else, and you're just like, what is that? And it gets all these views, it blows up, or it's like I do a video and I try to do something meaningful, like the Be Okay video with the the bottles and the message behind that. But I wasn't bending over enough in that video, clearly. Right. So, I don't got the same views or something like that. So it's just like, it's very hard, but I do feel like it's worth it. And every time I think about that, it reminds me of back in the day in 2009 and 10, listening to stuff like The Warm Up or whatever. And it just reminds me of, there was male artists back then that talked about guns and gangs or whatever. But then you still had the J. Cole's and the Lupes. So it keeps me in that mindset of there is an avenue for all of us.
For sure.
Like, I don't have to do what they do. They don't have to do what I do. Neither one of us has to knock each other because it's enough money for all of us. But it does suck when the media is the one that makes artists feel like you have to do this one thing. The media and the people that are actually giving you those views and, that can take your career from point A to point B, those are the ones that's saying, that's not enough auto-tune. You need more auto-tune. Or this doesn't sound like what's on the radio. That's the radio station telling you that. So, I stopped caring about that type of stuff. And like I said, that's not why I started. I started because, like I told you, so my purpose is to do my music that either heals people, helps people, gets them through something or whatever, not to necessarily be the number one song on the radio.
Right.
So.
I do want to say this too, because I know this to be true, but it really kind of rang true. Our last interview that we did, somebody talked about, having your own particular voice, right? And that art has been lost. Mm-hmm. And so when we were getting ready for this interview, I'm listening to your music, right? And I'm like, this is what's dope about your music, is you have your own voice. You don't sound like everybody else, right? You sound like Lexxi. That's you. And I want to commend you for that, because there's a lot of copycats out there. Mm-hmm. A lot of copycats. And it gets tiring. And it's really hard to listen to the same shit over and over and over again. And I just want to say it's a compliment that, I really do enjoy. It's like a breath of fresh air of listening to somebody's music who has their own voice and doesn't give a shit about what is going on in the industry today, because I think that is a good point, that we're all like being conditioned, right, to like that auto-tuney sound or whatever it is. And it goes across genres to alternative to rock to everything. Everything has like, oh, you better sound like this or you're not going to make it.
Yep.
And I think that's really important that you're not doing that. Being true to yourself and making music for you, in a sense, but like for other people too. To get behind it.
No, it's for me first, and that's what helps the music keep coming. And the word conditioning, that's the perfect word. That's exactly what's going on. There's a lot of conditioning going on in the industry, just between there's a lot just in the generation, in this time period right now, just in the world today, but thank you for that. I really appreciate you, and that is exactly what I want to do. That's what I've been trying to do, and that is something that is what makes it hard, but that's also, again, what makes it worth it. And it's building a lot of things foundationally, like from my work ethic and like the way that I do things, and I'm not just gonna like sign a contract. No, I'm reading this word for word. Like it's a lot at the beginning, and again, it's kind of what's making it lag, I guess. But at the same time, it's what's going to actually leave. Like, I'm going to leave an actual mark in this industry. It's not something that's quick overnight. And it's like a house. Like, I don't want to live in a house that you built overnight. Like that's gonna fall down when it rains. Like I don't want, I need something that I can. You took time on it and you built it from the ground up, and you did brick by brick, and you did the drywalls and stuff like that. Because when the big bad wolf comes, we good. Versus the big bad social media. I don't know.
No, that is true though. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, I really appreciate that. And yes, I don't like auto-tune. I don't like that. I don't like.
Thank you.
Yeah. I like my voice though. I like how I sound.
Yeah. No, you sound great, and I agree, because I think it's just. Let me put it this way. Auto-tune's not bad in the sense of, like, if you're going to do it in a hook or something like that. But when it's like throughout a whole project, it just gets annoying. Yeah. It really does. It's just like, okay, this doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah,
like if you use it meaningfully, then it's okay. Like you're like, oh, this would be cool. Like we just did it in this one bar or something like that, But it's not done like that. It's like, oh, let's slap it on and let's go. On every single song, it is. I didn't know that you could do this. This is how far removed from auto-tune I am. There's a way you can like do it live now. You put auto-tune in the mic or something. Whatever else. I was like, no, what?
And the microphones that are auto-tune now.
Because at that point, it's just like, I'd rather watch the AI dude with the green dreads at this point, because it's the same thing now. It's like, I don't even know what's going on. But yeah, no, I like it to be as natural as I can. But then as far as you said, making music for myself, that is something else that helps it. Music stays and keeps going, because I'm always going to be going through something. There's always going to be, and not everything's bad also.
Right.
I have a song called No Feelings that I did with Wendy Rose, and that was just a fun feel good song, but still kind of going through stuff. And I was just saying, like, I'm not catching feelings, we catching flights. Like, we're about to make this money, we're about to make millions. I was also manifesting. I wrote the hook, so I was also manifesting that.
Okay.
But making millions and whatever like that. So it's I could do a song about, I have a song called, it's not out yet, but I do have a song called Payday. It's about the day. I mean, come on, like,
of course,
but nothing is just gonna be like, look at me, I'm so, and you're not, and then like, okay.
Right.
After a while, it's like, all right.
You don't have. This is gonna lead me into a couple of things, but you don't have the desire to make kind of more of a provocative record.
No.
Okay. No, I'm just asking.
I mean,
just in the sense of like, okay, because I think a lot of times, and no is a perfect answer. I'm not saying that you got to say yes. A lot of times there's always that record for whoever it is. So if it's the conscious rapper, it's always the radio record. If it's the hardcore rapper, it's always the one for the females. So there's always a record that artists feel like they have to make in order to get to a certain, demographic that they want to get to.
that's really unfortunate that they feel that way.
No, I mean that you don't think so?
I mean, I'm sure there's artists that feel that way. I just think it's unfortunate.
Okay, good.
No, I
I'm
don't. I think that's it. If you ever get to a point at any point in your career where you feel like I have to make a song because of this, you already don't even go in the studio that day, because no. But to answer your question with the provocativeness, no, not anything more than like I've already posted the most provocative thing I'm gonna do, probably. But nothing. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess it depends on what you mean, because there's some people that would consider, like, for example, "Single Ladies" by Beyonce provocative because she has a leotard on. Hey, nothing wrong with that video.
No.
There's
I'm
so
saying
stuff like that.
lyrically provocative.
I gotta put a few more songs out, and then I'll let you ask that again, because I got some coming out that are a little bit more, because again, I write about what you actually go through, and sometimes we be going through, like, you feeling somebody or whatever.
Okay.
So that is, I actually have a song coming out on 420 called High.
Okay.
And it's about getting high with your boo. So,
Yeah.
but no, I don't think I ain't gonna be no WAP lyrics over here.
Okay,
ain't gonna be no
WAP.
WAP. Ain't gonna be no WAP.
Okay.
No, not from Lexxi.
And that kind of leads me into another thing, is that obviously on BOK, you're showcasing your vocals a little bit. Is that something that we can look forward to more of from future Lexxi? Like, are we going to be having some full on R&B tracks coming? Like, what's in the works for the R&B side of things?
I would really like to.
Okay.
My thing is, I refuse to give y'all anything that's not 100% perfect, and like, it can't be wet, can't be trash. But I mean, everything I do is fire anyway. But still,
right.
So with that being said, I have to make sure that it's up to par. And putting out BOK because of the hook was actually kind of hard for me. It's my first song I've ever done anything like that on, and I was like, do I sound okay?
Right.
And then no auto-tune. Do I sound okay? So but I so far I've been getting good feedback. I don't know about a full R&B track.
Okay.
I will definitely do more where we're singing on the hook. I don't know. I don't want to say no, because what I am actually looking into right now is vocal lessons.
Okay.
Because I do want to get better. And if I get better, then maybe a full R&B track. But right now, I'm kind of focused on perfecting that skill, because you can even hear, honestly, on BOK, like, that verse is like, oh, she's been doing this for a minute. And the hook is like, she kind of knew, So, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Let's keep talking about BOK real quick, because first of all, the visuals are really cool. I really like the visuals, because
shot my hatch.
Yeah. And like you said, it's the the visual of the breaking of the jars, where you have like where it says like anxiety, and then you're breaking it with a baseball bat, and there's all these different things, and who came up with that, and why did you go down that road to do that?
Let's get into it. Yeah, so that was my idea. It was my idea because it was, so first of all, the message on the bottles, it was like, you're breaking the bottles because the bottles are symbolizing vices that you're addicted to or whatever. The message on the bottle is the initial reason of why you probably started that vice. And then you're breaking not only the bottle, breaking the habit of the vice, but you're also breaking that emotional connection of whatever made you start it. So it was all together. But I could have used anything. I could have used cigarette boxes. I could have used whatever. But I chose bottles because, one, that's millions of Americans have an alcohol problem, and it goes unspoken about because it is legal, and alcohol is pushed so much in the media. Like every time you see a commercial of like Ciroc or New Amsterdam or something, it's somebody's just having a ball, or they're like they're a millionaire, and it's just like, oh, my Porsche and my and it's just it's pushed like it's supposed to be like this luxury thing when actually it fucking kills people. So it's really sad. But also, I was and am one of those million of Americans that kind of succumbed to that vice, unfortunately, with some things that I went through in my past. So those bottles in the video were mine.
Oh, wow.
Those bottles in the video,
nice. That's a good touch.
Yeah.
Thank you for revealing that here, because that's really cool.
Yeah, I went through some shit in like 2019, 2020, and I did that. And I wasn't necessarily, at first, I wasn't saving the bottles on purpose. It was just like, it was that bad, where I'm just drinking toss. So I got a room just full of them, and it was sad, and it was disgusting, and it was really bad. And I said, well, especially when I said I need to stop, which I did. I got so much better with my sobriety. But when I said, okay, well, you done bought all these damn bottles. You got about $1 million worth of alcohol on the floor, empty bottles right here. So a couple things you could do. You can call the company. You can get a sponsorship. You can, And I almost did that, but then I was like, well, I don't want them to sponsor me, because then you just want to keep sending me more bottles, and I'm trying to stop the habit.
Right.
So I really wanted to stop, and I really wanted to, but I also wanted to kind of do something where I can show people that it's not easy at all and stuff like that. So I said, okay, we're going to put these bottles to use. And so the plan was to have them in the video. I came up with the idea of like breaking it because I wanted to show the anger side of, So it was like completely like my idea. I called Hatch. He was like, yeah, that's dope. Like, we need to get that done. And, and we were actually going to go to a recycling center. They just wouldn't respond. But that would have been dope with all the trash everywhere. Yeah. Right. So we just went to the mountain because they were like, we're going to do it today. And But, I brought all of my bottles and we put the messages and we broke them all. And then after that, like all the broken bottles and stuff, I was going to take to like an art gallery and melt the glass down and make like a centerpiece for a table to just show that I got over it.
Did you end up doing that?
No, not yet.
No,
I didn't.
Okay, but you still
have all the.
I still have a few because we didn't use all of them, so I still have a few. I actually, to be completely honest, and this is something that made me so mad, and this is something that I was thinking about when we were filming the video, and everything. My mom was gonna be like, "Why'd you say that?" But I'm gonna say it anyway, Mom. Here's the thing. So in 2020 and 2021, right, kind of after I was going through what I went through, but I'm still going through what I've been through.
Right.
I was in a relationship. And to be honest, he's actually a great guy. I shouldn't have been in a relationship that soon after everything I had been through, but whatever. So we were together, and I was still doing my habit or whatever of drinking, and, the bottles are collected under the cabinet or whatever. But, me and him collectively, we were really trying to get me to slow down, stop, whatever, get through what I went through. And that was when the idea came of the centerpiece. Because I had already had the music video idea in the back of my head. Right. But the idea of that, because he was actually really into art and artsy painting. I don't do stuff like that, but he did. Okay. So I'm like, well, yeah, again, we got all these bottles collecting up. And he's like, let's go melt them down and let's do this together. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to do it yet, because I feel like if we do that and we bring it in the house and it's supposed to symbolize I don't drink anymore and I'm still drinking, it defeats the purpose. Okay. So let's wait till I actually stop. So I was getting to the point where I was actually stopping. Unfortunately, at the same time, we're breaking up and stuff like that, but whatever. I remember it got to the point where there's 2 trash bags full of them, whatever. I was going to go get them from him, and I went to go get them because I had got to the point where I got the song I needed to do the video, and I had found out that him and his mom threw them all away, and they both knew what I wanted to do with them. Oh, shit. I was like crushed because it was a lot of bottles. It was like trash bags full of them, and I'm never going to drink that much again.
Right.
That was the point.
Right.
So why would you do that when I needed those?
Right.
Because I'm never going to get that collection again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was crazy. That was crazy. So the few that you saw in the video were like some of the last few I had, and then I saved a couple to do the idea that I still wanted to do with the centerpiece. But yeah, that video was supposed to be bottles, supposed to be everywhere. I really wanted to show people like I get it and how bad it can be. And he fucking knew that. He knew that. So I was just like, all right. So when I did the video, I was just thinking about it. And when everything came out, it was just like, you tried to ruin my plan, but it's not going to work.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
That's dope. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's dope. That was you threw me off with that story.
Yeah.
It's such a good story. I had a question. I really tuned into what you were saying.
Yeah, I was hurt, man, but that's okay. Like the one thing is perseverance, and it's not the only time people have really tried to like ruin things that I've really worked hard on. But there's nothing better than that feeling of it worked out anyway.
Right.
There's nothing better than that. Now you look stupid because now look, that's a great feeling. So, but yeah, most people don't know that. Most people, my close people in my life know how bad it was, like 2019, 2020, as far as my drinking. But most people have no idea. Most people have no idea. And like I had really, I don't claim it anymore, but at one point I had really bad anxiety. That's why that was the last one, because a lot of people know that. Unfortunately, my anxiety had got to the point where it was almost like debilitating to even work like a 9 to 5. Like, I mean, just, I don't know if y'all have ever been in an office where you're working and just, not you, but like maybe somebody you witness, they just can't seem to get it together. Like, it's like every day is like, what's wrong with you? That was me. Or I'm just sitting there and working, everything's fine, and then I'll just start hysterically crying. It was bad. It was like, I don't know what that was, or how deep of a depression, whatever you want to call that, but I don't ever want to be there again. And I'm working every day to never be there again.
Right.
But also, it was so bad that I will do anything I can to make sure nobody else has to feel that.
Gotcha.
So I started making all these songs because I'm like, yo, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay.
Right.
Like, it's going to be okay. The next song I have coming out in March, it's called Keep Going.
Okay.
Like, you guys are going to be okay. Like, just keep going. Just keep going. Like, I'm making songs that I needed to hear at that time.
Gotcha.
And
for you to say that, 2019, 2020 is not that far removed.
No.
And then obviously, now you're home, right? Because everybody's home. So it's the double whammy. And then for you to get out of that and now be making this push that you've been making over the last, couple years, but really this last year, what is it like now for you kind of moving forward? What is this Lexxi Meshan? So for people that are watching this, that just watched your story, and they're like, well, shit, man, hold up, pause this. Go check her out. Play some of her stuff right now. They play some of your stuff. Who is that Lexxi Meshan now, right? And what can they expect from you going forward?
First of all, play DGAF. Play Don't Give a Fuck. Start there, because that song will always explain me.
Okay.
Just that's the song, and it's not about not giving a fuck. It's about growing up and realizing nobody else does. So
Right.
there's that.
Right.
But what do you guys expect from me? I would just say,
what do they need to know about you?
Well, I'm by far always going to be one of the most authentic artists out there.
Okay.
It's always going to be authenticity with me. I might, accidentally say something to offend somebody in the cancel. What's it called? Cancel culture, whatever. Yeah, y'all got to chill. But like I said, it is what it is because I'm real. Don't ever expect no auto-tune. Don't ever expect me doing anything wild. Don't expect me to sell my soul. I mean, let's be real. If I was going to do that, I would have did it already, for being honest.
Right.
So, no, I'm not doing that. And just more songs that you guys can listen to that can, I don't know, explain part of your day, like, or some part of some day. You know what I mean? Like, just, it's always going to be real music that you can always relate to. I may do a couple of club bangers, a couple radio hits, but for the most part, it's gonna be music that you're gonna be able to let your grandkids listen to because it's that timeless.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah. I have a question about EPs and LPs and singles. Mm-hmm. So you've dropped a lot of singles, obviously. Is there anything in the works for an EP or an LP? Because here I love projects.
Yeah.
I just love projects. But and then we've talked to a lot of people, and then I get why people drop singles, and so I'm not hating.
Right.
Don't take that any different way. I just love projects. So even if it's an EP project, I love it. So I want to know if you're going to drop something. Not it doesn't have to be like give me a timeline, but do you have something maybe coming that you're going to do EP or LP?
And I want to put a cherry on top of that question because there's no damn straight video, right?
Yeah, it came out. It came, yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't see it. So I got BOK and so I got to go look it up. Take that question out. You go ahead.
Yeah, it is. Yes. I've actually been working on it for a while, but everything, I just need the timing and the everything just has to go right. So
I'm going to cut you off real quick.
Yeah.
And you can finish up.
Yeah.
But that is a really important what you just said. Timing. Mm-hmm. We know this. A lot of people that we've talked to, timing is everything. Mm-hmm. So if you drop it a year and a half from now, it's because the timing is right.
Right.
So, and just my little piece of advice is do it whenever you feel ready. Do it because it is. It's a weird God, universe, whatever you want to call it, right? There is something really interesting and very special about the right moment to drop something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's that, and also just making sure everything is right, because there's just so many artists that's just dropping stuff to drop stuff, and that's why we have now like 100,000 songs on Spotify new every day, because it's like y'all just dropping whatever and not. So I'm trying to like do everything right all the way around. So I'm thinking fourth quarter, third or fourth quarter of this year, and it will probably be. Not really EP, probably upward of like an LP or an album.
Okay.
But timing is everything, because BOK came out like 3-4 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I recorded that last March.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I recorded that last year this time.
Okay.
That's when I wrote it and recorded it. So it wasn't time for it to come out yet.
Right.
The stuff, like, it was a great song. So I didn't change nothing. Like, I didn't touch the recording mix at all in a year. It was just, it was just in the archive until it was time. And I knew I wanted to put it out. But even last year, this time, it wasn't bad, but it was nowhere near what it is now. Like, right now, my life is, like, phenomenal, especially compared to last year and the year before that, don't even. So, God. So, like, 2 Februarys ago, let's not even. So, it's just, like, it was a good song, and the lyrics were good, and the delivery, everything was dope, but the timing wasn't right. But yeah, so yeah, it was just the timing was better for just better for me to do it this year, and it feels good. It wouldn't have felt right putting it out last year. It would have. That's the thing, and that's why I said when it comes to the alcohol bottles and stuff, and when it like even making the centerpiece, any of that, it wouldn't have been right if I was still deep in that issue of it, because it would feel like I'm lying.
Right.
And I'm supposed to be authentic. So it's like, how are you going to put this song out? Like, you're going to be okay and you're smashing these bottles, and then you leave the shoot to go buy another one.
Right.
Like, what are you doing? So I couldn't. I didn't feel honest putting it out yet. But now I do. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to a project from you, because I think that's going to be pretty awesome. Just the stories, and I just like all that, from front to back, and listening to it in order and the way you intended it for everybody to listen to. I just find something very magical about that.
That is actually funny you say that. That's something else that I want to do. It might be a surprise. I'm gonna figure it out, but it's not. I'm like that. I'm very much so like, okay, how much can we get out of this? So we're going to do the project. The song's going to be about stories, right? But then the songs, if you play them in this order, it's like a whole story. Then this order, it's a whole different story, right? But then the titles, if you read it straight down, that's like a whole paragraph. It was like, and then like play the song this way, it says this. Play it backwards, it says this. Like all of that. So I'm not just like, we're not just dropping songs. No, I'm bringing art back to the industry. Like, let's be creative. Let's figure out like secret messages and songs. Like, that is really cool to me.
Yes, I love that. I love that kind of stuff.
I want to do all of that, and I was actually getting into that more so recently, seeing how artists in the past have done that, and I'm just like, yeah, let's figure this out. So I actually figured out how to do it recently on the actual recording thingy. So I'm like, yes. But just any type of like thing like that, or like anything that I can do and then come out like 50 years later and be like, Lexxi Meshan's classic album. This is what she really said,
Right.
And it's funny that you say that, because we were actually having a conversation earlier about Music Soul Child. I just had an interview with one of my favorite.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he had an interview with not with the Pivot podcast, and I was watching it, and he was talking about the song "Love."
Oh gosh,
which is like everybody's favorite song from Music Soul Child.
Yes,
and how years later nobody knew what the song is actually about. The song is actually about it's a therapy session, his own personal therapy session with love. And what love means to him, what he's starting to learn what it is. And we all, like, nobody knew that. Like, we were talking like, I thought it was a love song. Like, no, he's like, and then he starts breaking down the lyrics, like, so many things I have to tell you,
my God.
but I'm afraid I don't know how, because there's a possibility that you'll look at me different. Like, when he broke it down, I was like, yo, I've been singing that song for 20-some years. You know what I mean?
You know how many people's wedding songs?
Legit.
Right. Yep.
That's
legit.
wild.
So it's great that you say that because, again, we live in this popcorn society now. You know what I'm saying? And everything's got to be like that, and you got to like it now. Mm-hmm. But, you notice that if you notice that the people that are still around, Nas has dropped 4 classics in the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. Snoop is still the most relevant artist out of a lot of people, and he's bringing new artists to the table. Mm-hmm. Fat Joe is still relevant in some point, right? Like, these guys that paved the way, the Jada Kisses. I mean, look at that versus happened, right? Like the timelessness of a lot of these artists and hip hop artists, and especially in hip hop, because hip hop is the youngest genre of any music genre, and we forget that. 50
years this year, guys.
Yeah, and so it's great that you say that because that is what hip hop is about. It's about not just telling a story, but for the story to be read, re-listened to, retold, and for years down the line, you go, damn, I never even caught that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a big battle rap fan. Yes. So I go back and watch battles from 2 years ago, and I'm like, yo, did you hear? Nobody's in the room. I'm like, yo, did you hear that? Shit was fire. Like, so I'm glad that that's the approach that you're taking.
Yeah, that and having people catch it later. I still, Lil Wayne is another one of my favorite lyricists. I still listen to first of all, there's not that many Wayne songs of, our generation. We've got most of his albums memorized. Let's be real. Like word for word, I know most of your songs. I was literally in the bathroom the other morning getting ready, listening to one of his songs, and I was in there rapping with it, and I was like, I don't owe you like 2 vowels. And I was like, oh shit. And I know that song. I've been listening to it my whole life, and I'm like, wait, I don't owe you. No, he did it.
Yeah.
I love that feeling. Yeah. That's an amazing feeling.
That is the beauty of music, though, because it's, man, you could listen to something that's 30, 20, doesn't matter, however many years old. It might not hit you right away.
Yeah.
And then it whatever mood you're in, you're like, why did I miss this?
Yep.
You skipped over it. It was on an album. It's not on an album. It's whatever it is. And I love that music is... I think most music is timeless. Obviously there's stuff that we can say that's not. But, a lot of stuff is timeless. And it just depends on your mood or what you're going through. And you're like, that doesn't speak to me right now.
Yeah.
And then 2 years down the road, and you're like, why didn't this speak to me before? And it's just because of whatever you're going through.
Right.
And that's the beauty of music. It's always around. And it's there to comfort you and hold your hand and get you through the good times and the bad times.
Yeah. Yeah. That is very true.
So do you have a possible title for the possible LP at the... Possibly in the fourth quarter?
Possibly the fourth quarter. Not yet, but it is going to definitely be something, deep. It's not going to be like, be okay, keep going. It's going to be... so that's another thing I've been thinking about the title, because I want that to also be deep. Like, I was thinking,
work on it.
I was thinking about a couple different things, actually. So I don't know yet, but the title's going to tie into... It's definitely going to be one of those projects where... It's going to be talked about for a while, because it's not going to be one of those, listen once, I heard it.
Right.
No, you didn't. Because you're going to have to, it's going to be like Good Kid, Mad City. No, you're going to have to play that in a couple different orders. No, I don't think you understand.
Yep.
So, which is also one of my favorite albums, Good Kid, Mad City.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
Yeah. That was a good time.
To Pimp a Butterfly, too.
Oh, yeah. It was interesting that the critics wasn't feeling that one. There was nothing wrong with that one.
That's his best album to me.
Yeah, I didn't get it either. I'm like, this is great. What's wrong with y'all? That was awesome. So you didn't like the Damn album? That one was really good. That one was really good.
Like I've been listening to Kendrick since he was K-Dot.
Since Section 80?
Before that.
Okay.
Like when he was just coming up.
Okay.
Like on mixtapes and stuff. So, because, I'm Big West, so I lived everything West.
Yeah.
I was all tapped into.
Yeah,
so,
I didn't know until Section 80 came out, and I was like, "Ooh, this is fire! Who is this?"
and then when he came out as Kendrick Lamar, kind of changed his moniker to his real name, and then obviously Good Kid, Mad City was crazy. Mm-hmm. To Pimp a Butterfly to me is sonically his best album.
Yeah,
like just the complete sonics of how it was produced, mixed with how he was able to lyrically deliver, as well as it was just constructed like it's almost like an orchestra being put together.
Yes.
That's what that seems like to me.
Yeah.
Damn was a message. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That was a very specific message, as well as Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
Yeah.
Right? That's a very direct, two great albums, classics, but they were direct messages where I feel like sonically, man, To Pimp a Butterfly was crazy.
I think that one is like, I felt like that's when like he really like became like a man. Like that was cool for him, but that was his.
Walls could talk like Wesley's Theory. Like when I go down, I'm like, oh my! I still listen to that to this day. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Great album, and that's the same type that motivates me. To be honest, like if you guys like right now just start naming off the rappers of today, I'm probably not gonna know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I don't know. I get what you're saying. So like you would probably like somebody like a Jid.
I love Jid.
Yeah, just so yeah. That's the style.
Okay,
it's the style
you're naming lyricists though. Like I know the lyricists.
Yeah.
Like Jid is fire.
Yeah, but he's still pretty new though.
He's new.
Well, okay, so if you're new but you're like lyrical and you're about content, I'm probably gonna know who you are.
So you don't like trash, is what you're saying.
Well, no,
I'm with you though. I'm with you though because I like the lyricists better.
Yeah.
Because kind of circling back to the beginning part of that conversation of it just doesn't mean anything. It's all radio songs, or it just doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah,
it might sound good, but you don't want to listen to a whole album of it.
Or it's just like it's like the hottest song of this summer, but like next year we're gonna be like, yo, turn that shit off.
Right.
That has to suck as an artist. I don't want to know what that feels like. Like this was like I remember like okay. Well, I'm not going to say any names, but there's a particular artist that came out around 05, 06-ish with the hottest dance song that took over the entire world. And now people are really mean to this individual, and I don't understand why. And there are people pretending like you don't know, that didn't happen. And I'm just like, it's the pioneer of like that type of style and just doesn't get respected today. And it makes me sad.
Name rhymes with rain?
No.
No?
No. He's the first to do everything. He invented everything. He did everything first.
Okay.
He did everything first.
Okay.
But in all honesty though, and it was so weird because I remember that time period when he was doing all these interviews and he was like on top. Like, I'm sorry, whether you liked the song, you hated it, your kids was doing it and your grandmama was too.
Right.
And I remember I think somebody asked him what was next or something, and I don't know what he said, but it was something like along the lines of like this: how long is this gonna last? And he said he was joking, talking about when I'm 80 years old and I'm gonna be telling my great grandkids about this time period. And I've thought about it, and I was like, no, but for real, like this he's really took over everything that period, and then now 20 years later, they be disrespecting dude on Twitter and stuff, and I'm just like. You was doing that dance when you was younger too, so stop it. Like, and that's why it's important to me to make things that are timeless because I don't want to have the song that everybody at the pool party to this summer and 2 summers from now. It's literally like we kicking the DJ out if you spin that.
Right.
Like right. I don't want to be that artist.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that because you think of songs, and then they always have a time and place too, especially when it hits you. Mm-hmm. Right? And I think that's great. Like, creates a memory.
Yeah.
But then you could go back and you almost relive that memory.
Oh, for sure.
But you're not sick of the song. Mm-hmm. It always will take you back. It's like a smell, right? Mm-hmm. Like you smell something and it's like, oh, well, that reminds me of grandma or whatever, right? And then it's the same thing with music. You can play something, and it was like, man, I remember I was cruising down the road.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful spring, and the windows rolled down, and I was going down, whatever road, and you remember everything about it. That's awesome too. That's just a beautiful moment of music as well.
As long as it was a good year, you're reminiscing on it.
But even if it's bad though, even if it's bad, because I still think it's important to know.
Like
where you came from.
2000.
Yeah.
God damn.
You don't want the song to remind you of the ex. Like, I turn that shit off. It reminds me of so and so.
Come on to me. Goddamn Anthony Hamilton and shit.
Oh man, yeah. See that song, Charlene got to go. Turn it off because it makes everybody cry.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But if you look at, to your point, look at today's music. They sampling the stuff that. It's not even old. Like, it's not even old.
And I
school.
wish they would stop. I can't
They
stand
sampling
that.
stuff from like when we was teens.
Yeah,
like,
it wasn't even that long. I can't
wasn't even
stand
that long
that.
ago.
Like, it's not time yet.
And they don't even. It's not time.
Right.
It's not time. You sampling SWV. Man,
Right.
like, I'm still listening to that.
Right.
Man.
Like, I still got the original
Come
main
on,
track.
man.
What are we
I still
doing?
got the CD, man.
Right.
I don't. I really wish. I mean, sometimes, very rarely, artists do it, and it's really good. Like, there are some samples where it's like, damn, that was fire. But for the most part,
Well,
it
they don't
just
dig in the crates like they used to either.
no.
So they just don't.
It's like
everybody does the same sample.
song was hot 10 years ago. It just came out. Like,
Just came out.
But also, it's like
Sampling T-Pain.
it's like thank you. But it's like you can't. If you're gonna do it, do it. Like, do it right, or just leave well enough alone. Because that's my pet peeve when people sample something and then it's trash, or it's too. It's pretty much the same exact beat. It's just
Yeah. No, they didn't do nothing to it.
yeah.
They
That
added a snare.
there's actually a new song I just
There's a
heard
new
out.
song.
Yeah,
Most of them are like that.
no, but
there's
it's
one
one of the
that's
new
out.
people that I
I
don't know. But I don't even remember the sample right now. I think I heard it for a clip of it like last night, and I was like, so did the producer do anything at all, or he just?
Are you talking about the Catch Another Flight? That one, the Coil Ray.
I don't know.
That one's about to catch another flight. That one.
No. This is like a sample. Like when I say sample, like it's almost like a cover. They use the same beat.
Oh.
I do hate that though. There's
Right?
something
And that's
like
what I said.
if
Did
you're
y'all
gonna
call
do
the
it,
producer?
flip
Yeah.
it, please. I mean, like it's cool if you're gonna do, but when you do the same,
It's the same beat. They
same
sped up
thing
the
too?
BPM.
Yeah, I don't know.
And you call that a sample versus like if you have a song like hold on, what's the original Biggie version? What's it called?
Oh,
Him and
One
R.
Chance?
Kelly. No,
Oh.
Big and R. Kelly. Is it the effing you tonight? Is that the name of the song? I can't be the name of the song. That you must be used to me spent. That one? Okay, beautiful song.
Right.
And then, however many years later, Nicki Minaj and Trey Songz came and made Touchin' Lovin'. That is how you sample something.
Right.
That was fire.
Right.
That's how you do it. Whatever's going on, I don't know what's going on recently. But that was, because it was just enough where you're like, oh, it sounds familiar. And if you listen to it enough times, you know that song enough, you're like, oh, okay. But it's not like the song with their voices over it.
Right.
You know, like...
Right.
I don't like stuff like that.
So that actually spun me into a different question for you. As far as the LP or the project is concerned, are you looking at using production-wise an array of producers, or do you have somebody or a couple people that you're really locked in with, where you're going to make this project kind of have a particular sound? Because I love when the Nas's of the world get with a Hit Boy and they just drop 4 projects and it's just fire. Like, I love the one. I don't mind the different producers, but even Jay throughout his career used the same 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when he had an album, sometimes 2 of those guys weren't on the album, right? So is that something that you're looking to like lock in with certain producers? Do you have a producer that you're locked in with? Like, what's that situation like?
I because I'm so versatile, I have producers for different things.
Okay.
Because ideally, I would like to do that. I would like to have a few, not one, but very, very few. And let's just this is just my team. Like, I want to have that Drake and 40 relationship, or
Right.
you know, but it's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard to get somebody to commit to doing something like that, or like if I have like my dream and I work on this every day 24/7, I like eat, sleep, and shit music and Lexxi Meshan and just betterment of my career, and trying to find somebody to match that energy is hard, because it's either it's either like chasing and trying to get them in, and I shouldn't have to do that if you really love this too, or it's like, yeah, I'll do it for $1,000 an hour, and they don't understand how much more can be made. If you just do this and we can, we locked in. Now we got millions, and you wanted that little bit of whatever that work to hire fee, Right. So it's hard to find that, but I do have a couple producers that I work with. Actually, all of them are out of state. Okay. 2 of them are in Florida, actually, which is interesting. But one of the ones that I want to really lock in with is P-Dub. He did Don't Give a Fuck. He made that beat, and it's beautiful. And then there's another producer, Judah, that I have. He did Be Okay and Keep Going. That's coming out. So he's really good too. Okay. But both of them are the more slower, like, okay, I'm going to tell you about my bad day type music.
Right.
So I'm looking for more, like, I'm actually looking for like a 808 mellow type person that can give me some of those, like, because I also rap very aggressively, right. So I need like another damn straight type beat that I can go off on.
For sure.
But I wouldn't want the other two doing that because that's not their avenue. Right. So yeah. Yeah, ideally, like my little team. I'm working on it.
Yo, the streets. Somebody get that 808s. Somebody get it popping for Lexxi Meshan. Y'all, I know a bunch of y'all. Y'all know me, man. Hit me up. So hit her up.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Get it done. So is there anything you want to cover, anything we miss before we get up out of here?
I'm just trying to think of everything. Shout out to everybody who came out 2 weeks ago and saw me perform at the Super Bowl. That was lit. That should be on YouTube really soon. So that was a very, very fun experience. Shout out to Kodak Black. I opened up for him the night before.
Dope.
Trying to think what else happened. There's a lot. It's been a lot. It's been I was like, shout out to Twista. He was such a nice guy.
I saw that. That was dope.
He's such a nice guy. It's been a lot this year in a very short amount of time. And I have a lot coming up. I have a lot that I'm working on. I'll be in New York soon, so y'all could catch me out there. Since I did this the last 2 or 3 interviews, I think this is going to be my thing now until I meet y'all in person. So shout out to Coast Contra. Can't wait to meet y'all. By the way, yes. I was going to say, if y'all don't know who that is.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
It's my favorite group. And one of them is going to be Baby Daddy soon. Maybe, hopefully.
It's going to be what?
No, I think he's married. I think they're all married.
Oh, jeez.
Are they married?
I don't know if they're married or
no,
not.
there is one. There's one that posted wedding pictures on Instagram, and I was like,
Okay. Hey, you gotta manifest it like you said.
No. I'm sure they're all taken, but they are dope. And I met their dad, and we did a song in the studio a couple months ago. He should be here this weekend, so shout out to Razkaz.
Shout out to Razkaz.
Yeah, sure. I think he'll be here this weekend. But yeah, no, I love them, and lyrically, like, they are exactly the. Like, I'm trying to be the female that, yes, like what the message is. But that's what the thing about them is, the message is very strong, but also that aggressiveness with the it's very East Coast. And I've tried to like rap like chill. It doesn't work. Right. It doesn't work. I gotta be aggressive. So that's my sound. But yeah, just shout out to everybody. Shout out to TJ Supa, of course, for locking us all together. Trying to think, I don't want to miss anybody.
Well, that's when you just say, man, if I miss you, y'all know who you are.
No, you guys, everybody out there, I think you're great. I want to make sure I put all my stuff out there. So we got the new music coming.
For sure.
Got that coming.
Where can they find you?
Yeah, where can they find
you? You guys could literally Google me, because I worked hard on that. So Google Lexxi Meshan and let it take you wherever you go from there. Just Google me. 2 X's. Let me think. Let me just make sure. I feel like I'm forgetting something important. And it feels like the Super Bowl, but that was 2 weeks ago. I already did that.
Okay.
I feel like...
Do you have another show coming?
That's what I feel. Do I?
I don't know, do you?
I feel like...
I would have said yes, you do, but I'm not sure where it is.
Oh, man.
I might have to get on the Grizzly and see, you know what I'm saying?
I'm like, what? You guys, what am I forgetting? I don't know, but the Super Bowl was lit, and I hope I can do that again next year. I do plan on being in Vegas next year for the Super Bowl, so if I can get another show out there, that's going to be fire.
Yep.
Yeah. Shout out to all my real lyricists out there and writers.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. But you guys can find me on everything: Spotify, YouTube. What's the other ones?
Instagram.
Gram.
Are you on Facebook or no?
Yeah.
Twitter?
No, not Twitter. I have not been on Twitter since 2016.
Snapchat?
No.
That was awesome.
Am I on
Yeah, not
Snapchat?
officially, you know what I mean? Oh, there it is, man.
Well, you know, it deletes.
Yeah, it's there somewhere. You know what I mean?
Snapchat is a great invention to have it delete right after you view it. That was, and you can see when they screenshot. That was good. That was a good invention.
That was a good ass time, huh?
That was great.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Twitter, Snap.
So yeah, back no Twitter.
No Twitter. Possibly Snapchat is there somewhere, but you know what I mean. Instagram.
I'm probably not going to add you back on Snapchat. But Instagram, I will follow you. And like I said, followers and listeners on Spotify and iTunes. Check out my clothing line if y'all want to buy some stuff. That'd be cool. Oh, speaking of which, that's Damn Straight. The music video for Damn Straight was debuting the clothing line. Oh, what a day that was. Anyway, great day.
Yeah, it's good. I mean,
Ish. Yeah, you want me to tell you about the Damn Straight?
yeah, get into it.
Okay.
That's why I say if it's a stone that needs to be turned, let's turn it.
I'm trying to think where I should start. I'm trying to decide how petty I should be right now.
As petty as you want. Do it.
So the day started okay. I can't half-ass the story, so I got to tell her.
Yes,
so there's a particular individual that I will not name, but we have already spoke about, and so the day started fine. But I had the clothing line that I was doing, and the thing was, Damn Straight actually just happened at the end because I was launching my clothing line on I think October 1st of 2021. Yeah, and so this was sometime in like August or September. We were doing the shoot. I got a creative director, Angel Virtuoso, and I was able to have her. And whatever she did, she got like all these models to come through to this big thing. And it was like 10 girls and they were like gorgeous. And it was just like I've been a model for 6 or 7 years. So I know what it's like to show up to like stuff like that. But I've never had my own. And if I did, I would never think that many would show up. So it was amazing. Right. They made up, hair done. They was ready. It was great. So we met in like one parking lot, went to the Chandler thingy, and we were doing it. And it was a great day. I almost didn't make it to the day at all because somebody thought it was a good idea to start a fight out of nowhere, and the fight started in the car. Not like a bad or anything, like just an argument. But knowing what I had to do that day, and knowing that they were supposed to be the transportation and stuff like that, and knowing how important it was to me, again trying to ruin the things that are most important, this particular individual decided to let me out on the side of the road.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and then left and never came back.
Oh, shit.
So I almost didn't make I still had to go to my makeup appointment, get my makeup done. I still had to go get the actual clothes themselves for the girls from my line. Mm-hmm. There was a whole bunch of like little things we were supposed to be doing. And what more convenient time for me to start an argument about nothing than now when, you need all this stuff. So I almost missed the entire thing, and I ended up I think I was so upset, but I ended up calling one of my friends, and they came through, and I had to call another friend because I missed my makeup appointment. So she was like, "Girl, just come to my house. I got you." So she did. It was real quick and real rushed, and I can't stand being rushed because I'm real organized and I'm very on top of stuff. So I don't like that feeling. But we got it done, and then so like when I showed up to the location that the shoot was taking place after that crazy couple hours, I mean, like I was like crying. I was just like I was mad because I'm like, okay, the first couple times I thought maybe, no, now I know you're trying to sabotage. So, you know what I mean? Like, because that didn't just have to happen. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I was just so upset because it's always like right when the worst possible time, premeditated. But anyway, so when I showed up to the shoot, and I see all these girls. I see my creative director, and she's handing out shit, and they look like they were all ready to work. Like, I think I like almost teared up in the car because I was like, look at all these people that are here for me to do this for me.
Right.
And then I said, okay, gotta get my shit together. Actually, I drove away where they couldn't see me. I come home, I was like, Mom, you won't believe this. Because I had told her all day, giving her an update, like, this is what just happened, this is where I'm at. So she was already upset. But I was like, oh my God, I just got here. All the girls are here. Everything looked great. So we did the whole shoot. The photographers are here. We're like, oh my God. And it was an amazing shoot. So by the end of the day, I had forgot that even happened, and I had a great day. And at the end of the night, the videographer, she's like, okay, so you want to go ahead and do the video? And I was like, yeah, but I mean, shit. Like, after the day has been, let's go ahead and do it. And the girls are already there wearing my stuff, so I'm like, yeah. So the video doubled as a visual debut for the clothing line as well.
Dope.
Nice. Yeah, but it was a day, and that whole day. That whole day is on my Instagram. It's in one of them little circle thingies. If you watch, it's on, the Ellen the brand. It's that whole day, and if you watch it, you can kind of see the play-by-play of everything I just said. And there was a moment at the end of the shoot when we were like in a circle, and I was just thanking everybody for coming out. But I had mentioned, I said, I had a hell of a morning, and there will be people out here that will try to ruin whatever you're doing, especially when you start doing it well.
Right.
They will do whatever they can. They will wait till the last minute, almost to the point where like you can't now adjust and fix. Like they'll do stuff like that, and you just got to keep going. And you just have to keep, and like they're in a circle, and I'm standing there telling them this, and I'm telling them like, I had literally today people tell me like, I ain't shit, you ain't gonna make it, whatever. And we're still here. We all look beautiful. We're still killing it, So the whole perseverance and like things that people go through or women go through, and things that are kind of out to kill you. My whole purpose here is to make sure you know that it won't. You just gotta, as long as you keep your head up and you keep trying every day, you're gonna be okay. I am a walking testament of that. Like, you're gonna be okay if you cannot give up,
Dope. That's a dope story. That's dope. No, good. No, thank you for sharing that. Thank you. So I'm glad we got that before. Mm-hmm. And I'm mad. I need to go get that damn video. I didn't think it was a video of that. So I wanted to pull up to the video. You know what I'm saying? But it's already good. Trying to insert myself, and it didn't work. But I'll be in the next one. I'm gonna just pull up.
Yeah,
I'll just be walking in the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Photo ball. You know what I mean?
That would have been a perfect one too, because everybody just hyping that one, so that would have been perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
Which that wasn't even supposed to be. Damn straight. I can't believe y'all like that one, but okay.
That shit fire to me.
I mean, no, it's good. No, like I said, everything I do is fire. Like I said, but that song wasn't made for like. That wasn't like a Lexxi Meshan type beat on YouTube. That wasn't that. Yeah. It was actually, that song was written for me solely for performances. That's all it was supposed to be for. That's why it's so short. That's why the hook is like that, because it's a call and response.
Okay.
It wasn't supposed to be like, this explains her as an artist, and this, like, no. So when people, it's funny how everybody gravitated towards that one, and I'm like, that's the one y'all not supposed to be listening to like that. Y'all supposed to be listening to the other stuff. That's the one because nobody wants to hear me on stage talking about, if it's one thing I learned from others growing up, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody want to hear that shit at the club, Right. So I had to do something that I can do crowd reaction and stuff, but it wasn't supposed to be like a staple song for me that it has now turned into.
That's the door that gets you in the house. Now once you're in the house, you got to explore the rooms.
Yeah, well,
and that's where the
and sometimes you just never know. You never know what people are going to gravitate towards.
Yeah,
too. I mean, you just never know.
I had no idea.
Shoot, man, you just never know what somebody's going to latch onto. Yeah, you never know.
I didn't know, but I guess that's what y'all like. So
damn straight.
Can I get that? I love it.
Yeah. Well, Lexxi, thank you for coming through. It's been an absolute pleasure. I think the only thing that I ask is that when the project's about to come out, pull up.
I got you,
what I'm saying? Let's chop it and let's get them exclusives, you know what I'm saying?
Possibly Q4.
And before TJ, you know what I'm saying?
I got
Leave TJ out of this.
I got you.
No. We know Big Bro come first.
But yeah, possibly Q3 or 4. But thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Great space.
Amazing. It's a great interview. Can't wait to. I'm looking forward to your project. I really am.
Thank you, guys.
And yes, come back anytime. Door is always open here. You guys stay safe. You guys stay positive out there.
And as always, this is the Gray Space. Peace.
I'ma cop a bag, then I'm spending all that. Then I make it all back when I die, I can chill, yo. Can I get a bucket and a mop as a spill? I think it's another rapper I done killed. Ha! Yeah, I'm with it. You done fucked up, telling me sky's the limit. Watch me suit up, RP to the scrimmage, even though I'm all black, but I still gonna get it. Wait. Oh, I get it. You done fucked up, telling me sky's the limit. Watch me suit up, RP to the scrimmage, even though I'm all black, but I still gonna get it. So, can I get that? Can I get that? Can I get that? Damn straight. Can I get